Hey guys, Brock Steele here. Today, let's talk about insulating your hives. I have done a ton of research, and everything that I'm reading and seeing makes total sense to insulate your hive. So let's just talk about, bees in the wild live in trees, hollowed out trees. And those trees have a pretty decent insulation R value. So let's talk about the R value of, say, a standard Langstroth 10 frame box. I mean, we're talking about 3/4 of an inch of wood, 4 squares. You're basically looking at an R value of less than 1.87. Versus a hollowed out tree out in the wild will be anything from 5 to 7 R value. That's about a 6 times greater degree of insulation that the bees have in the wild. So, we're really pushing the bees to their limits on regulating the temperature inside the hive. Now, the bees are a perfect HVAC system. They will regulate that temperature between 92 and 97 consistently. But they're going to work pretty darn hard when you're not giving them much of an R value and it's less than 20 or 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So let's kind of help the bees out there and not have them work quite as hard. The other thing that you don't get when you don't have insulation on a wooden box is you have a cold outer temperature and you have a moist, warm environment, 92 to 97 degrees. When those two temperature variants meet, you get condensation. Condensation falls on the bees. The bees can handle cold temperatures, but they can't handle wet and cold. So putting an insulative barrier there is going to take out those drastic temperature changes and prevent a lot of that condensation. So I know a lot of you are saying, okay, well, that's fine for the winter, but what about the summer? Well, in the summertime, the bees get hot. You've probably seen, or if you've just getting started, there's something called bearding. Bearding is when the bees will actually congregate all on the front of the hive, right on the front of the box, and they'll just kind of hang out. They're basically doing this because it's too hot in the hive and they're just adding more and more heat. So they basically go out to cool off and cool the hive off. The biggest problem with that is when the bees are bearding, they're not doing anything else. They're not foraging, they're not nursing, they're just basically hanging out. And that's not a productive bee. So having insulation on there that can help them regulate those drastic changes between hot and cold, like we talked about in the winter, but just reversed in the summer, can make a difference for them not having to work as hard to cool down the hive. Condensation. So let's talk about how we go about, or at least how I went about, insulating my hives. So I went with a polystyrene. You can use any insulation that you want, but I was looking for something that was easy to put on the boxes and had some substance to it and had a good R value. So I ended up going with this Kingspan, and you can see right on the table here for the R values. A 1/2 inch of this stuff will give you an R value of 3, 3.8 for the 3/4, 5 for 1. I ended up going with a 2-inch thick board, which has got an R value of 10. And it's really got a good hard substance to it. So what I ended up doing was the ability to put a screw on a large stainless steel washer and screw it right through the top of this, and it will hold it right on the box. Use some glue on the underside, and you can basically just put it around the box and crank up your R value. So let me take you outside into the bee yard and show you exactly how I applied it. Okay, so we're out in the bee yard, and I'm going to go over how I put the polystyrene insulation on the hive. First, I just wanted to cover there's a couple of ways that you can put the insulation on. You can do it in a modular design, meaning that you just insulate each box individually, and that gives you flexibility if you wanted to do just a single deep, or if you wanted to do a double deep, you can just add the boxes right on top that are insulated, and it gives you a lot of flexibility to insulate individual boxes. However, I did come up with a new customized large brood box design, and if you end up going that route, then you can actually cut the polystyrene pieces bigger, and it allows you not to have to worry about either caulking or putting something in between the boxes on the top of the polystyrene, so that you can keep it relatively airtight. So let's take a look. Here we have the box. Okay. You can see on the sides that the polystyrene is cut. This is a medium-sized box. This is a deep. Cut the polystyrene for each side, and then the fronts and the back. Screwed together with a screw and a 1-inch washer. I happen to use stainless steel for my hardware, but I don't think it really matters, because you're going to be painting it anyway. One of the things to note is, depending upon where you're going to have most of your wind from, I would put the corners, the full side of the polystyrene up against the side that you have wind, and how it's oriented. So what I mean by that is, the sides here, I put those on first, and then the overlap on the corner is on the back side, because that's where the majority of the wind is hitting the box. Okay, so really all I did was, after I cut the pieces, was put some Loctite polystyrene adhesive, and then I screwed these together. As simple as that. That's how it went on. Like I said, we went with the 2-inch polystyrene. You can see that 2 inches gives you an R value of R10. You could go with a thinner piece, but I just chose to have a little extra, because I live in New England and the winters tend to be a bit colder and longer. The only other thing that I did was put on a little small piece of plastic wood that I screwed, another way to hold on the polystyrene, and screwed into the box, so that now you have handles where you can actually pick up the box if you need to. All right, so that's the box itself. The other thing is, don't skimp on the cover, because heat rises, and that's where a majority of your heat loss is going to happen. So you're going to have to do the same thing you did on the box on the top cover. So you're going to take your existing top cover that you get with your 10-frame Langstroth hive. You're going to cut the pieces of polystyrene again on the sides first, that I did, and then again overlapping on the back. So you do the sides first, okay, Then after you've done the sides, then you're going to cut a piece basically that is over the top of the metal portion of the cover. Okay. And again, you're going to glue them on and then screw them on same manner as we did for the box. And then what I did is I put on the top, I put a plastic board, a 1/2 inch plastic board on the top. And that's really just weatherproof. As the rain and elements hit it, it's basically waterproof. Now the polystyrene is waterproof. However, polystyrene will break down in the sun, so you want to paint it. You want to paint your hive. So definitely don't use spray paint. Use a latex outdoor paint, and slap that on, and the polystyrene will last for years. So that's a quick breakdown of how I did it. Doesn't take that long, and you're really going to give your hives a lot more insulation both in the summer and winter, and that means bees aren't going to work as hard to have to regulate the temperature, which gives them more time to make honey, which is the goal. Brock Steele, beekeeper, happy beekeeping.